I would like to see... How about a red cane? Wouldn't that be nice?
Red cane start? Yeah, that would be good. I'm gonna go say... I want to see bow, actually.
Bow makes the early game routing a lot easier. I want to see, because of how much I dislike seeing early cane, I would like to see both of these runners have an early cane to try to funnel them into a situation where they may need to go to Turtle Rock early.
Well, they start with an extra heart container, and Uncle just saying hi as he leaves the house.
So in the early game, both of our runners are going to be looking out for just some defense, some offense, some rupees as well, because they will need some rupees. And it looks like we have a Rage Rod to start out with. That's pretty close to a Red Cane, not quite, but it will get them some access to dungeons later on. And the Fire Rod can be a very pesky item to track down in the late game.
Yeah. There is one drawback to a Fire Rod start, though. And that is the bomb grind. Both runners are going to be looking for a bomb to drop from the enemies in hopes to get some more items at the end of the escape sequence.
Because you do not want to have to go through that escape sequence twice to get those chests. Because that can be required.
Yeah, and with only 8 shots, they'll have to be very careful where they aim their shots if they're going to grind bombs.
Most of the runners who have this situation come up will try to grind them off of the rats and snakes towards the end of escape, because depending on how you angle your shots, the fireball from the fire rod can hit multiple enemies, and the more enemies that you can take out with one swing, the better chance you'll get of a bomb drop.
Yeah, I always look for those double kill opportunities when I can with the fire rod. If nothing else, just to be efficient. Alright, let's see what they get here from this guard. Just a green rupee. Yeah, and they're on the same drop table. Hey, we get a shield.
This is not a bad thing to find. You actually want to see 2 shields early, because it can make some of the boss fights that you'll find typically routing Dark World early, such as Blind, much more manageable.
What madness is this? I found another person who likes the fire shield just as much as I do.
Because, let's face it, the first shield doesn't really help you too much. We do have a lift upgrade at the bottom of escape, though. That's one of those items you'll typically find very early, because a lift upgrade does gate off a lot of areas. But yes, it can be pesky to track down as well.
Yes, and it is a little bit early enough, although we're not going to be seeing it. Normally, if you had the power glove this early, you could try to escape the escape sequence and still be in the range state outside, but we prevent that. There's a guard there blocking the one way out with the power glove. So no Zelda World Tours are available. Something else that glove does is makes it so that it's an easier time getting back to those 3 chests should they not get a bomb. And it looks like neither runner's gonna be getting one, at least in these guards.
Though with that early lift upgrade, even if they don't get a bomb drop, I would not be surprised to see both of them immediately check the back of escape as soon as they get bombs from Kakariko. I would say a good time to do it would be after you get all of the village stuff and complete the race game. You would probably just save and quit back to Sanctuary and take care of those 3 chests. Maybe even before doing Dam.
Yeah, that's essentially what I was getting at. Alright, so here we go with the ropes. Nice! Triple! Unfortunately, no bombs from that, but a very good shot from Data. That's a rare. I've never seen a triple kill with them. Wow.
And we have literacy as well.
Yeah, Book of Medora. So, here's a question I want to ask you. Do you detour and check the pedestal while you're in the forest doing your mushroom check?
Absolutely. You absolutely check the pedestal. If you get book in or prior to Kakariko, you absolutely check pedestal, if just for peace of mind.
And it looks like Data will not be finding a bomb.
Another thing that I could see with that book is perhaps a desert play.
Actually, yeah. If it's not boots locked, they can full clear the dungeon. Oddly enough.
Magic might be a bit of an issue because you would need to kill Landmos with just a fire rod, which is very, very challenging.
I mean, it's 2 shots each, but yeah, I can see why not to mention there's like all the technicals. Alright, pendant check, or map check. We got green at Hera, it looks like. I think I saw red at Desert. And Eastern was the 5-6.
A pendant desert actually gives you even more of a reason to check it, I feel.
Yeah.
Interesting that Data is not checking a Lumberjack immediately. That's another piece of mind play that I like to do. Is just knowing whether you have to do Aga 1 as soon as possible, knowing whether you have to do...
Oh, he's not wasting time. Data's going straight to the pedestal.
So we're about to find out, and also because we have 2 pendants in the light world, there can be more items sitting on the pedestal itself. So we are about to find out what is there.
Heart piece.
Unfortunately,
Bed's
just
dead.
a piece of heart, and a piece of heart at the Lumberjack item, so... The only way we could have Aga 1 required at this point would be if it is needed to get into the Dark World.
Yep, Pet is dead. Well and truly. And also Agatar, as you said. But Agatar may not be off the table just yet. There is still the off chance that the runners have to go there just for Dark World access, but we won't have to wait until later to find out.
But I absolutely agree with the ped check by both of our runners here.
Oh, man.
We have a single arrow at the Thieves' Hut, so not a lot of items out of the gate. We will see what we do have access to in the village. Another concern is our runners do not have bomb money at this point, so we may see a double dip of the Thieves' Hut as well as the well, depending on what kind of money situation we have. This is a very unusual situation to be in early game. Normally you have at least enough... Wow, heads up by Data there, checking that rock for a bomb. I didn't even realize that that was one of the fixed bomb points.
It's not, it's 50-50, but yeah, it's one of the few slots you can check. Front of Link's house is also one.
That is really heads up.
Yeah, there's quite a few of those actually in the game.
And there's our bomb money.
That's actually merchant money. We have bomb money in the back, and we don't need it. Alright, so... got some decent amount of money. Nothing major to speak of in Thieves' Hut. So far.
So, Aeide will be pleasantly surprised to find bombs in the basement of the Thieves' Hut.
Yeah, it will be a nice sigh of relief for him. Data will now be checking the well. This is another 4 items for us. Actually, no, 5. My mistake.
So I think that because you have such early desert access...
Hello, green potion.
And that it's a pendant, that gives you even more of a reason to make an early desert play, I feel.
Like I just said, we also have a green potion, so now Sick Kid's available. Bloomerang as well. Titan's Mitt!
Wow! 2 lift upgrades in 9 minutes.
Well,
I believe now we are just a Moon Pearl away from Dark World access, so if the Moon Pearl is indeed in Kakariko Village, we could see some pretty stark route divergence in the seed.
and that's half the money taken from the merchant, and he gives you the rest back.
So at this point, I believe the only way that Aga 1 can be required is if you need him to access Eastern Palace, which, given the number of locations we have left, is pretty unlikely. So depending on the distribution of the items, we could very well be looking at a Jet Seed, but it is too early to call at this point.
You meant Palace of Darkness, but yeah.
Yes, Pod.
But there is actually another niche requirement, and it's simply getting access to the Fat Fairy. There is no way you can swim the bomb around to there without the hammer.
That would be pretty evil.
Of course, this implies that the other 5-6 isn't hammer locked.
So really the question is, early game now, is where is this Moon Pearl?
It could be on Pyramid for all we know. That is a spot it can show up. I've yet to see in this tournament, but I know it can.
Moon Pearl was much more common Moon Pearl at Pyramid was much more common in previous versions of the logic, but in this version of the logic, it's not anywhere near as common as it used to be. Nothing at race games, so I think we'll see at least one, if not both of these two, check back of escape, and it looks like Data is making the play there.
Yeah, very solid play from him. And we should see also maybe South Shore Loop. That'd also be a good place to check.
Data will check that after checking the back of escape.
Yeah, most likely.
This is a location that if you don't knock it out right away is very easy to forget about.
I think I've been there, done that. Alright, these items were the 10 arrows, the map we were missing, and the other boomerang. So we have both boomerangs.
Well, TGE would be happy. So just nothing doing so far. Another bomb pickup.
Yeah,
Data showing his knowledge of the vanilla game.
Yeah, and these two only have been at this for about 2 months, so he's studied pretty well.
I think that both of these runners are going to be people to watch out for in future tournaments.
No doubt, no doubt. There's been quite a few newcomers here, and uh-oh.
Oh, we have a lantern. We're still missing a couple of pieces for Aga 1, though.
Yeah, but I still don't like the sight of an early lantern.
You just want to see these runners do all kinds of dark rooms. But this does put those 2 items in Death Mountain in the logic.
That is true. But actually, no, I just don't like early Agas. But the Fire Road will be okay, but I still don't like early Aga. Especially with the health situation.
Neither one of our runners making a play on desert yet.
Yeah, it's kind of out of the way. Sometimes I check it when I have boots, but that's about it.
I don't think it's a bad idea to make an early desert play as long as you have the book and... Ooh, that's a hook shot. That's going to point them towards Death Mountain.
Yep. Data not talking.
Did Data just not check the NPC?
Data did not check the NPC, but it's fine. It's only 10 arrows. He lucked out there.
Somebody likes rolling the dice, because that's not a die roll I would make, that's for sure.
That was very interesting. All right, so here's Ice Arcade from both of our runners. And
Now, early health is not a bad thing at all.
And that was a stun prize there from Aeide. That's only 5 rupees, though. Also, with the lamp and the hookshot, Desert, if it's not boot select, is very doable, I'd say. Again, you'd have to be pretty accurate with your fire rod shots on Lamp Molas, but at least the road there is not that bad. And you have a green potion as well. Actually, I almost forgot about that.
Yes, Desert is completable, but you have a lot of items open in Death Mountain right now. So at this point, you're searching for a Moon Pearl, and if you do find a Moon Pearl in Death Mountain, you can knock out Dark Death Mountain as well because you have hook shots. You can check 7, 8, 9. You can get
There's a lot of items there.
9 or 10 items, and you can check 2 more. Death Mountain is definitely the play here. If you find Moon Pearl up here, then you can check Light and Dark Death Mountain in one fell swoop. The runners don't have access to Spike Cave yet because they don't have a hammer or an invincibility item.
Clubovich, Super Running Cave is checkable, but it's not in the logic because they do expect you to have Moon Pearl. And there's the Cane of Samaria for Data.
That would make me a little nervous because we're getting dangerously close to Turtle Rock access.
Well, Turtle Rock's not that bad. It does you have to full clear every single time, but it's not that bad.
On 6 Hearts Blue?
Oh, if you dive in there with 6 Hearts Blue, you're a madman.
I've seen several runners in this tournament do something like 9 Hearts Blue.
I think I think even with the blue mail, you still get 1 or 2 shot by the chain chomps if you're not careful.
3. The chain chomps do 3 hearts of damage, and we have a stick!
And there's a heart container. 20 rupees. Another big 20. Jeez. Another big 20. And 3 bombs.
No Moon Pearl yet.
I think Data is gonna do the walk of shame.
There's another sword. There's another sword at Spec Rock.
Wow. All right. So that's mirror locked. So can't get that one yet. And what's here on Floating Island? It's just a heart piece.
So I think we'll probably just see a Spiral Cave check, and then I want to say the next play is probably Desert. Either Eastern or Desert, one of the two.
And unfortunately, if we find that mirror, Aga is in logic, I just now realized. Of course, they also find the cave, and that also puts Aga in logic. We still don't have a way to get past the barrier. With a sword, we can cut the curtain. And, alright, it's either... Do you go to Eastern Palace area, or do you go to Desert at this point?
That's a tough call, actually.
It really isn't, actually, if you think about it. Eastern having 6 items versus Desert having 4 at most. Well, 6 at most.
Yes,
for,
but that early book does kind of point you in Desert's direction.
The land was also kind of early, to be fair. All right, well, let's see if Data's making the right call here. Regardless, he'll probably check both locations that we've been talking about. Alright, so Agana's just a heart container.
Heart containers, I find, are not bad things to find until you get up to about 10.
Yeah, 10, 14 at most is most people would think is safe, or at least the NMG community does. Desert Ledge.
Oh, wow!
Okay, I stand completely corrected, Raiko. You were right to come to Desert first, because with that bow, Eastern is now full clearable. And I can expect... And now, Armos could have the Moon Pearl.
The reason why I was thinking about coming to Desert was entirely because it was a pendant. So you're on... And the way this dungeon tends to be is you often have access to it early, but it's not completable early. I mean, with the seed, the way the seed is set up, a desert is completable right now. And with a sword, you don't have to worry about missing on fire rod shots. Looks like Data's killing several enemies to try to fish for a full magic drop. That would be really nice. Big 20 as our first item. I maybe would have collected that red rupee off of that enemy because...
Alright,
we are close to Zora money.
We are officially boots locked here in Desert. Big Key's on the torch. Has to be.
Yes, Big Key does need to be on the torch. So I think you just leave the dungeon by the left side, grab the bow, and just forget about this last item until you're ready to go to, say, Mire.
Yeah, just compound it with the Mire check. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, Aggo's pretty much on life support at this point. It's very unlikely. Alright, so it's time to go see Sarsaparilla as well as go to Eastern.
And I think we have to find something in Eastern. I think our runners don't want to see Mirror.
They don't want to see Mirror, and they probably also don't want to see Cape.
Mirror or Cape.
Hammer would be fine.
Sword upgrade. What we really want to see is just the Moon Pearl.
Yeah, what we really want to see is Moon Pearl. And possibly also the Hammer or the Flippers. Hammer would just take all thoughts of Aga out and throw them away. Flippers, at least, would get him out of the Eastern area. And there's another bottle. And more bombs.
B-Torp is fine. But we are running out of locations. We've got 3 more items we can check before we need to make that Aga Tower climb.
And Malacra's in chat pointing out, Mirror would still unlock Hera, actually, so there's still a few more items.
But so far, both of our runners have taken identical routing, just Data's movement has been a little cleaner.
Alright, so here is the first chest in Eastern Palace. It is our compass. You have to full clear Eastern when you're in the area.
Absolutely. There's no reason not to.
Especially if Pod ends up being one of our last pendant.
You know it'd be silly if we do find Mirror in here. Oh, there it is. There's the Moon Pearl in Eastern Palace. So this should.
Yeah,
Aga should be dead. Aga should be dead.
Well, not quite yet. we still don't have access to the eastern part of Dark World. We need the hammer or the flippers for that.
There's a lot of locations that Moon Pearl has opened up, though. Nice skeleton room by Data.
And we now know that the big key has to be in its vanilla location, and that other 2 chests are items.
It's pretty rare not to have to check Vanilla Big Key in Eastern Palace. The items have to be placed just so.
And yes, someone in chat pointing out there is still the off chance that Aeide could still be required for the Pyramid Fairy. We just need to check our Dark World dungeons to see. And I just want to point out something, Chad. When we do get our Dark World map check, and it turns out here is our last pendant, but you still have progression over there that requires Aeide. So, Aege's not dead until we get the items that make him dead. But he is on life support at this point. What is Aeide locking? Right now, Aeide is locking the Palace of Darkness area of the map, and nothing else.
So that's, I believe, a total of 8 locations. 9 locations.
Yeah. And to get to Eastern Dark World, well, they need either the hammer or the flute. Or the flippers. I almost said the wrong item.
The flute is definitely something that these runners want to see.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Exo's flippers kills Aeide slightly. It is very rare to have a Pyramid Fairy required Aeide. It will have to depend on where our last pendant is. Or our 5-6 is, rather. There. And big 20 here, so... Just
the Moon Pearl.
Yeah, and Aeide most likely... And Aeide does have that Moon Pearl by now.
Sorry, Aeide, you kind of need the big key. So Data with that Moon Pearl is going to be making a beeline to the Village of Outcasts.
And if our 5-6 lands on any of those Dark World dungeons that is hammer required, then... Well, we know that the Pyramid Fairy requirement for Aeide is not going to happen. And I expect a map check as soon as we get a Dark World. And, yeah, Sora is actually on the table, I just realized, but we don't have the money for him just yet. Just walk over there with the Titan Smiths. And the Aeide item right today is just a piece of heart.
It is Swamp.
Pendant Swamp. And Turtle Rock is our 5-6. So, as a result... Pyramid Fairy cannot lead to hammer. So that means Aeide is not blocking. Cannot be, the flippers will kill Aeide. As much as the hammer would. So now, with absolute confirmation, Aeide is only blocking Eastern Dark World. And nothing else.
So that's just 6 locations, or... I think it's just 6 locations. No, 7 locations.
Yeah. Eastern Dark World is Catfish, fish pyramid, and the 5 items in pod.
Yes, that's 7 locations. I do like the Skullwoods play. You have the Fire Rod, you have a decent amount of health, and you have a green potion. That should be enough magic to be able to Fire Rod Mothula to death.
Yeah, Fighter Sword, not exactly the best way to fight moths, I'll admit. I actually struggled a bit yesterday, actually, trying that.
You have 16 Fire Rod charges. That should be plenty.
Yeah, I wasn't in the same situation as them. I was also on green mail. Not that it matters too much. Anyway. Oh, got bunny beamed. Aeide has taken out the Armos Knights on their end.
Data going into the Mothula fight does get a spin-off, so that's 1, 2 hits, 3 hits, 4 hits.
Bring in the potion.
Mothula giving Data some really nice RNG. Nice fight, very well done.
Yeah, very clean fight there, and Moth just has a heart container for us. But also, more importantly, one of the crystals. Now, if I were either one of these runners, at this point, knowing the information we do now, I don't want to see the flippers at all. I want to see the hammer and then just fake flipper my way to ice when the time comes. But that's just me.
I actually don't think flippers are strictly required for this seed. They're required by logic, but I don't believe they're strictly required.
No, because we have a pendant swamp. If we found the flippers, swamp would be required. Might have something for us. And no one likes a pendant dungeon. Pendant swamp. I don't like pendant ice, but it's a crystal this time, so I'm okay with it.
I definitely concur. I also like to avoid ice as long as possible.
I just don't like pendant ice. The times I've gambled it, it's had nothing. The times I don't gamble it, it always has something. It's one of those catch-22s that always
Welcome to Randomizer.
Pretty much, yeah.
I am really impressed with the hook shot movement from both of these runners.
Now we're gonna see data.
Hook shot is a fast movement method that a lot of even intermediate runners tend to forget about.
Yeah. All right, so Data's gonna start checking the village of outcasts here, and starting with Sea House, finding our ice rod.
Uh-oh.
That's actually important.
Yes, that is important, but it's a little concerning because now I believe we're a hammer away from Turtle Rock access.
No, or not.
True, we do need medallions as well.
Yeah, we need the medallion for Turtle Rock, and we might need 2, depending if Meyer is a different requirement. All right, what's here? Big 20.
This seed has been pretty linear so far.
Yeah, so far it has. But yeah, getting back to the ice rod, I'm actually okay with seeing it now because you don't have to go hunting it for it later. It's one of those worries out of your mind.
Interesting call. I think Data is trying to hedge for there being an item in the Thieves Town big chest because he's not digging the dungeon. So this could be a point of route divergence for our runners.
Perhaps. You could also just be doing all the checks around the area. before diving in and then doing the whole Smith loop.
True, he could do this and then save and quit after Thieves Town.
Yeah, I think that's what he's doing. Because without the mirror, he's basically setting up to fake flipper with, or just take Jeremiah through back home through save and quits.
And we do have powder at Old Stumpy. That's a very interesting item to have at this point, because now he'll be able to route in a magic bat with his sorry, the words aren't coming to me. His blacksmith check.
Yes, but he still lacks the hammer to do so, or the mirror. Alright, piece of heart from Hype. Flute!
That is an ocarina.
And a ton of cash. He's set for the rest of the seed.
That's where all the money went.
And it looks like Data was just prioritizing the overworld there. Yeah, he wants to full clear. He wants to make sure he doesn't miss an item in full clear dungeons. Nothing wrong with that either.
Not at all. Going to activate the flute, and then he's probably going to... I would actually not be surprised to see him flute over to Meyer just to get the information.
Get the information, check 2 items while you're there. Yeah, I can absolutely see this well. Ooh.
Because you never want to be in that position where you have 2 medallions and you go over to, say, Turtle Rock, and you find out that it's the one medallion you don't have.
Ooh, oh no, I just realized something. Aeide took a death to Mothula. Ooh, that does not feel good.
Going to Death Mountain. This is an interesting call.
It's the more item dense play. Which
it is, yes.
He's most likely gonna check Super Bunny, Hookshot Cave, get the Turtle Rock medallion check.
True, he can check that here.
And it's 6 items versus 2 in Meyer.
So he might check Meyer immediately after checking this area, just to know what the medallion situation is.
And gets the clip. Very nicely done.
That clip is not easy to do either.
I seem to only get it every other time I try it. Alright, what are these 2 items? Heart piece and heart piece.
When is there ever something useful in this cave? It's something you still have to check, but when is there ever anything useful in there?
When you least expect it. That's the best answer I can give, given the randomizer. Alright. Here we go with the hookshot K check. Very nice movement from Data.
Mirror!
That's actually huge for him right now, because now he can go to back to West Side, get the Master Sword, and then check Ether Tab, and then go Para.
That is a pretty big boon for Data. That will get him even farther into the lead, I feel. And it looks like we have Quake, but he doesn't agree with us. He's fluting away.
You know what?
I think I know why he's holding off on that. He may be waiting for a hammer.
You know, wait. I think he... Right, it was Aeide who checked Spectral Rod. He doesn't know the sword's up there. And it's Bombos for for Meyer.
So Bombos and Quake needed for this seed.
Yeah, Data did not check Spectacle Rock. He doesn't know the sword's there.
Net. First service.
And half magic. Very nice finds.
So with that mirror, he'll be able to do a checkerboard check as well.
And I think he's going to avoid the hair. Ooh. It's just 300 rupees.
With that Moon Pearl, I could actually see him checking the Zora area. No, he's headed back up to Death Mountain.
Okay, he went to get the Meyer checks done before he went up to the Hera side. I don't think... Maybe he doesn't realize that there's no hammer requirement to get across the bridge. He can just mirror on the other side. And we're actually seeing the inside of Thieves Town here from Aeide.
So this is our first real route divergence, and this could get Aeide back into the game if there is something very important in here.
And Data's checking Spectacle Rock now. Sees that sword, he will be grabbing it. And I don't have any doubt in my mind. With the sword in hand, he can check Ether right here. He's in the area, he might as well.
I am really impressed with Data's routing, just in general.
And someone pointing out that Bunduk is Steven Street East Depth Darkworld with Fairy Revival. Interesting. I have seen that Darkworld Fake Flipper setup. It is very interesting. I don't know if Data will go for it. That is kind of an advanced strat, and with only 2 months of experience under his belt, probably isn't going to be comfortable doing it.
I've never even seen that myself. Big key in the basement, in the south basement, so the tower room in Hera may not be needed. Hopefully not. No one ever wants to do that.
And we have our first item. So up we go. And yeah, Chad is pointing out to us, Aeide is available.
I don't see either of our runners doing that for a long, long time, though.
Yeah. I would only do it myself if it was the last thing to do, because with Flute, Titan's Mitt, Hammer, or not Hammer, Mirror, there's pretty much the entirety of Darkworld available to you.
Not quite sure why Data is choosing to bomb jump here, because he does have the hook shot. Oh, he doesn't have the boots, that's why.
Yeah. Very nice. Nicely done. He used the one bomb to set up the other one. Very interesting strategy.
I believe that is the most consistent setup for that bomb jump.
I mean, there is the spin strat that I've heard about. You just back into the pit slowly, and then with a spin charge, and you walk back, and when you release the spin automatically, it's you're on the last pixel.
Moldorm was not being very kind to Data at the start of that fight, but does get the job done.
And there's the key.
And we do have a key, so...
No matter, compass in the basement.
We do have a green pendant, though. I imagine Data will want to wait to turn that in until he has a reason to go over.
Yeah, there's no real reason to check it now. Given the fact the only other way to get over to that side is through Hammer.
I think Data might be making a Thieves Town play.
Well, we haven't seen anything important in Thieves Town. I haven't really been paying it much attention to Aide's speed. And here we go with Aide's blind fight.
With 9 Hearts Blue, blind is not an issue.
Yeah. Going with Cane strats here to just get the last hit in.
Nice use of Red Cane.
And blind has a piece of heart. So it looks like blind didn't have anything important. So I think the next major diversions Aide can do is doing the frog check.
He's got to make his way up to Dark Death Mountain, though. And with the item situation, and it's a decent check, but it's pretty time consuming to get up there.
Alright, based on the fact we don't have a key, I think it was compass, big key, and 2 items. In the first heart, one of which was bombs. I didn't see if it was the map for the third chest or not. Yeah, don't underestimate blind, folks. Take it from me. He can be quite the handful if you just go aggro on him.
With green mail, maybe. If you have blue mail and a good amount of hearts, blind really should be a non-issue.
I would still be careful. Yeah, it's 2 items. There's no map on Data's feed. And it's right there.
So that may be another thing that will weigh on the runners' minds is that chest in the basement.
Did Aide have a key on him when he finished Fall Blind? I wasn't paying attention. Aide now doing the hyper check. The key is in the Thieves Town Big Chest. Thank you, Michael K. Who, by the way, is our tracker for this race. Shoutouts to him.
The Aide picking up an ocarina on their end as well will be able to route in the blacksmith check with turning in that flute, which is great routing.
Yeah. And this is another item that... Okay. Vantage chest is 20 rupees. Yeah, alright. These Town was not hammer locked. Or they didn't have an item in the hammer spot. Yeah, there are a lot of sprites, and I'm going to give another shout out here to the sprite test for doing such an amazing work designing some of these sprites.
Oh,
Go on.
Absolutely. We have, I believe, well over 100 sprites at this point.
Yeah, one of them being Terra in her Esper form right there on the right side. Alright.
Alright, Aide turning in the lumberjack, or not lumberjack, the blacksmith item. We'll see what we have.
This could be big. It's not big.
Nope, just a nickel.
No, actually, you got that's not a nickel. That's that might as well be a Rupor.
True.
Because you paid 10 to get 5 back. That's a ripoff right there. The chances of that being a ripoff are extremely low to boot. So very rude blacksmiths today. And Data's gonna find that out himself. Does have the mirror, so he can combine the frog check with Magic Bat.
The Aeide heading to the mire area, about to get the intel that Data already has. As well as half magic.
Wow, I'm looking at this oh wait, no, never mind. Part of me was doing what could be a ped thing, and then I realized, wait, we've already checked Pedestal. How quickly one forgets.
There are plenty of other trolley locations that this hammer can be.
I was looking more so at the medallions. There's our flippers!
Flippers! That puts ice and swamp in logic now.
Swamp for only one chest, but ice more so.
I haven't had any in this logic, but there is one seed in...
Wait, that kills Aga!
That does kill Aga, you're correct.
I completely forgot about that!
But I have seen hammer in that one chest in swamp one time.
Same.
All the way back in 18.
I have seen it too. Oh my goodness!
Cool.
Do you want a fetch quest? Here's a fetch quest.
And Data might be making a trip to ice.
I mean, I think he'll check all of the flippers locations first.
Of course, but I could definitely see a play on ice here. It's a little risky, but Ice Palace is one of those weird dungeons where something important always winds up being in there.
I'm sure Data will be fine. He's got half magic and the fire rod.
What more do you... complete ice right now, though.
Yeah, he can full clear ice, even.
No, there's 3 items, there's 3 locations in Ice Palace that you cannot access without a hammer.
Oh, right, I forgot about that, and he can't kill the boss. Yeah. Ice is one of those weird dungeons in which you don't remember the hammer requirement until it comes right in your face.
Oh, we've all made that mistake. But, just hammer in Ice Palace, it shows up there more than you think it does. And it's one of the most frustrating places for the hammer to be.
Well, we're about to see what the Zora's domain area has for us.
Still no hammer, still no medallions.
And it's gonna stay like that for a little bit longer. Aeide is walking across the bridge to GT. Got a mirror here to avoid the fireball from the Lionel. And just walk onward. Alright. Zora Ledge is just ammo. It's not the single arrow, even though it looked like it. We already found that. And there is our Master Sword for Aeide. Alright, Zora.
You got the hammer?
Do you have the hammer? I really want you to have the hammer.
Nope, just a life lesson.
Major life lesson.
So it does not look like that this hammer is readily accessible at all. Probably going to need to go dungeon diving at this point.
I have to ask you, Raikau, this simple question. What if it's French vanilla?
That would be extremely rude. I would actually consider going to ice before. I would consider going to ice here, but it could be in pod. That would be almost as rude.
I mean, with the flippers, you can actually not only check pod, but you can check the surrounding area, which is pyramid, catfish. You can even mirror and check in the green pendant just before you go get Kiki the monkey.
I like this North Dark World check that Data's doing. He may be going to the eastern area while getting these locations done. These locations can be very difficult to route in.
Yeah, and our cave
Silver!
is...
Silver at Bumper Cave.
That means cave's required. Not necessarily in terms of our runners here, but the logic does require the silver arrows.
Yes, it does, but that doesn't mean anything because
the
silver arrow placement does not. It doesn't really matter because that cape can be literally anywhere.
Yeah. That's what I was getting at, is silvers only matter to the logic. It doesn't necessarily matter to our runners. They can just fight them again silverless.
And I'm sure both of these runners, being at 4-2, know how to do silverless Master Sword if it comes to it.
Can we not have a silverless Master Sword at least? Can we have it like tempered silverless?
No.
I understand wanting to be kind of mean to the runners, but I don't want to be that mean. I want to be a little merciful.
Have you had to do silverless Master Sword in a tournament race before?
No, because I don't think I'm good enough for tournaments, to be honest. Anyway, Data World's gonna go over here and check Catfish.
And even if the cape does come up, I don't know if Data will actually return to collect the silver arrows.
And Aeide,
I think it depends on whether he finds a sword upgrade before going to Chi Tower.
tempered.
Well, there's a sword upgrade, so Data is probably not going to go back for the silver arrows at this point.
Unless he feels like unless the cape comes pretty early. Like it's the next major item he finds, probably not, no. But something the chat is pointing out here, Aeide did not get the green pendant, so if Sarasa has something important, that is going to be a huge advantage for Data.
And Data's going to be able to make that check while he's over here. And Aeide has to be very careful with all the mirroring not to strand this purple chest.
Yeah, I've seen it happen, but very rarely. Pyramid, only 20 rupees. Oh, and this is something interesting that... Oh no, Data has checked Hobo, hasn't he?
Yes.
Alright.
Yes, Data's done all of the Flipper's lock locations, with the exception of Ice Palace.
And Tenement Swamp, but details.
Swamp, but...
Swamp's got a few more requirements that we're worried about. How crazy would the sea be, by the way, if this happens to be a Hammer Go mode?
That would be pretty nuts, because Hammer blocks so many locations. And it looks like Data is making the green pendant check.
Green pendant is money.
Just 300. It is potion money.
Which he has plenty of. What's he up to? 800? Yeah. Oh, even more. Anyway, here comes Kiki the Monkey. And paying the 100 to enter Piles of Darkness. So I guess that's an eye for an eye there. Data missing the NPC in Mini Molder, I'm not getting punished too bad for it. Aeide missing the green pendant for Sarasa, also not getting punished for it.
That could be on the back of Aide's mind, though, as we get later into the seed.
And it's a Swanky here in pod. Not that it mattered, we had the boat well beforehand.
Both of our runners have actually dodged a couple of bullets in this scene.
Purple chest. Alright, the shovel. Was that checked by data?
I don't believe the dig spot has been checked yet.
Ooh. Oh, and I don't think Aeide or data checked Bombos either, did he?
No.
If either one of those locations is the hammer, that's huge for Aeide. It is!
Hammer!
Okay.
Well then!
Commentator's blessing.
That's a location.
Commentator's blessing?
That's going to be a very difficult location for Data to get back to as well.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be... I think the tempo of this match just swung in Aide's favor with that.
I don't disagree with you. Aeide does have a lot of ground to make up, though.
Because Aeide does not need to go get those flippers from Magic Bat. He can most likely fake flipper his way to ice if he needs to.
So I think at this point, we are just medallions away from no mode.
Yeah, it's medallions.
I'm pretty appalled that we still have not seen a single medallion between both of our runners.
I just had a... Wow, this is going to be a very interesting scene here. But now Aeide is entering pod. Can complete it, unlike Data.
There's also the tilt factor. Even checking all these locations, when Data does find that hammer, there's always the tilt issue. When you find something important in a location that you could have routed but didn't.
Yeah.
This game gets inside your head.
It really does. You have to have a lot of focus to play this thing well.
And that's the case in most randomizers, but particularly in this one.
So Data will eventually be forced to check Bombos, just simply because he has no items left to check.
Data picking up a lot of hearts in Palace of Darkness.
You know what I just realized? The most common location for our two medallions to be right now is, ironically enough, I think it's Swamp. Pendant Swamp might have the two medallions we need, which are Bombos and Quake, respectively.
We also still don't have the boots.
Oh, right, I forgot that Desert was boots locked. Although Desert's a pendant, we don't really care about that.
There is one item left in Desert, I believe.
Yeah, but one item versus all the other world.
It'll still weigh on our runners' minds.
Alright, Data is now out. And there's the blue cane for both runners. And one would have to assume that Data is going over to check Bombo's tablet and the other locations he missed.
Cave south of the Grove as well. I don't believe that's been checked on his side. And dig spot as well. So this is how Data will be able to route in dig spot.
If he doesn't, I really hope Data does not forget about Bombos, or let us stray either.
That's it. If there's something, if there's say Bombos at dig spot.
That'd be...
Nope, just a 5-er.
Yep, so...
But it does look like he is going to route over to Bombos tablet, and he probably won't be too happy to see the hammer there.
Yeah, but it hasn't lost him that much time, in all honesty. Worst he's done is he's now forced himself to do a double dip in pod, but he's done so much more checks than Aeide has. That he can catch up.
Actually, I would argue that with this hammer find, Data will be back in the lead.
It's at least close. I'll say that much. It really depends on where our next bit of progression is.
And throughout the seed, Data has definitely exhibited superior movement. So yeah. That will allow an incremental advantage to be built up as well. You can't discount how much movement matters in this game.
You can also not discount these runner skills. They have been putting on a great show for us. There's been a lot of bumps. This has been a very nice one to commentate. Nice roller coaster.
Oh, absolutely. And our chat also pointing out that the way the routing has been in the seed for Aeide will be very unlikely to find the sword at Catfish.
Might go up and check it after pod, but yeah, that's about it. Actually, that's probably what Aeide will do is, oh, I'm just thinking hypothetically, but maybe go to Catfish Mirror and check King Zora? Just assume that...
right. Aeide has not checked Zora yet.
So he has an incentive to go check it along with check Catfish and do a mirror check with Zora. He can't get everything over there, but you at least make sure that Zora isn't vanilla.
So I think if you're Data and you don't get anything else out of this dungeon, you may have to consider diving Swamp.
I think Swamp is the play, in all honesty. As much as I hate to say it, we are missing 2 medallions, and the odds of them being both in Swamp is actually fairly high, given what we have left to look for.
Swamp is very polarizing in the Link to the Past randomizer community. There are people that swear by Swamp, like myself, and then there are people that will try to avoid Swamp at all costs.
I like to think I'm in the middle ground. I'm not too much of a fan of Swamp, but I'm not going to shy away from it if I end up needing to go there.
There's definitely arguments for and against it.
It's mainly the time save it is versus go mode. Full clearing versus go mode.
But in the case of Pendant Swamp, you just can't ignore the item density.
Yeah, even if Swamp is ultimately a pendant. Actually, I can just see yesterday it was Pendant Swamp, but Argus had the progression item I was looking for. Yeah, don't discount Swamp. Only a blue ruby from Helmasaur, though.
There's definitely an argument to clear out ice first because it is a crystal, but just the item density is not there.
Yeah.
And some of those locations in Ice Palace are so far out of the way.
Yeah, the only things we're missing at this point are the medallions. We know where the silvers are. They're on Bumper Cave. We don't know where the cape is yet, though.
With tempered, I really doubt that even if he does find the cape, Data's not going to go back for them.
Yeah, tempered silvers is absolutely fine.
Especially if you play vanilla, because that's how you fight. That's how you fight Ganon in the speedrun.
Yeah, of course, I don't speedrun the game that often. Anyway, starting with an Ice Palace dip here. Let's see what the first item is. And it looks like Aeide, meanwhile, is going up the catfish, so Aeide will also have the tempered sword.
Probably will route Zora in. And Aida's been playing very well.
Alright, map first chest.
Data's just exhibited slightly better movement throughout the seed.
Yeah. Slightly better movement, although I will admit has been a little bit reckless with his item checks. But he hasn't been gotten super punished by it yet.
Neither one of our runners have really been punished by reckless item checks yet.
Yeah, the only one that we were worried about until Aeide checked it was the mini molder Data of not talking to the NPC.
Nice stealth room.
Yeah, very clean. For those who missed it, Aeide Data did not talk to that NPC. Aeide did, but it was only 10 arrows, so nothing major. And she's using the full clear route here for ice.
It makes sense though. When you're still missing things, you're not going to stop checking chests until you have those medallions you need.
And a perfect strike from the Penguin Bowling Room. It also makes sense because Data will has the Cane of Samaria to just put the pressure on the switch anyway, so it doesn't need to set up the puzzle at all.
Meanwhile, Aeide about to be sorely disappointed in Zora.
Yep. Meanwhile, Data World finds the fire shield. A little late for it, but better to have it now than never.
That's fine, though.
Compass.
Mushroom.
Well, that's another fetch quest item. That's our last one, actually. And very nice movement. And Data
Very nice clip.
Yeah, that one I still have to learn. That one looks awesome. There's our last item, actually, I think. And has to go down to the IC room.
Unfortunately. It looks like that's where the big key is. That is the worst place to put the big key.
Yeah. And without a small key, has to go the long way around. Data still needs the big key, folks. Aeide about to get the flippers here.
The worst ice palaces are when the big key is there and the hook shot is in the big chest.
Yeah. I can just see that.
So you in that case, you have to double dip.
This has to be a small key, too. Yeah.
So I think we have the last item at Cold Stare?
Yeah, no! Small key at Cold Stare. This was Mario required. Because you don't have the small key to do the puzzle normally. Because you need to open that door right there.
Right.
Alright, so the Cold Stare right here. There was nothing much really in here except for the mushroom, so if the mushroom leads to nothing, then it absolutely, I think, is Swamp. You can't go to the other 2 dungeons.
If Aeide does decide to go to Swamp and is able to go mode Ice Palace, that's a significant time savings. Nice fight by Data.
Very excellent fight as well.
That is not the easiest thing to do.
For those just tuning in, we have already checked Desert Palace as much as we can. It is boots locked. 1 item left, but we need the boots for the big key. And we obviously can't go to Mire or Turtle Rock yet. So, Swamp is the play. With one exception. I almost forgot about this. Spike Cave has not been checked yet.
We have still not seen a single medallion.
Yeah.
It's Data turning in this mushroom. If this is a medallion...
I want to ask you this, Raika. Which medallion do you want to see first? Quake or Bombos?
If I were the player, I'd want to see Bombos first. Just a bomb upgrade. Wow. I think Swamp is the answer.
Has to be. I can't think of any other location besides the Spike Cave.
Spike Cave would be a trolley location to put a medallion because the way the seed is expected you to route, that was going to be a loose square.
Yeah, folks, Pedestal and Agra were checked within the first 10 minutes, so we knew from the start that this was not going to be a Pedestal seed. Pedestal being a piece of heart, and Haga also being a piece of heart at Lumberjack Cave.
Still no boots either. And Data singing the song of all our people in the room with the damn switch.
And had his shield eaten by the picket. So no more shield for him, although that's absolutely fine. He doesn't need it anymore. And if they're gonna give him Mirror Shield, so be it. He already has access to laser burst through Cannon Burna. Yeah. Words, I'm having trouble getting them out. Sorry.
Words are hard.
Bombos! First chest!
Bombos!
Alright. Now the big question. Do you keep going?
I think you have to. It's too many items. I don't think you check the west side, but I think you check everything else.
Alright, so we are a Quake medallion away from Go mode.
In Myers 2 items versus 5 in Swamp, 3 of which you're going to find for certain. Maybe 4, rarely 5, but you can count on finding 3 items.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm actually approving of Data's play here. He's going for the item density, making sure he doesn't miss the Quake. And I have seen players dip a pen dungeon, find the item they think is the only item they think is important in the dungeon, leave, and come back only to find later that the other item they needed was in here. Second chest in Swamp is the map. Technically third, but details. Going to the back. There are 6 items in Swamp Palace. It is the most item-dense dungeon, but one of the slowest if you're trying to go for them all, because you usually have to make 2 trips. Because there are 2 on the left side that are pretty out of the way.
The room that Aeide is in is very difficult to navigate. Very easy to take falls. Did take 1 fall, but does manage to make it through.
Yeah, it's a lot easier going back to the room, though.
Absolutely. Because you're moving the same direction as the fire bar.
Data does find the big key.
Key.
Probably gonna check that on a double dip. If he has to return to Swamp.
I think that commits him to doing a full clear, though. Because you're not gonna—
That's Quake!
Well then! Swamp absolutely loaded!
Swamp had both medallions, and now dataworld at 1 hour 21 minutes and some change is in go mode.
Always trust pendant dungeons in VT29?
I'd say so. Starting with Meyer, not surprising.
But given the item placement, it was pretty difficult to make an early Swamp play. So
I'd say it was outright impossible. Both items were both the requirements for Swamp were mirror locked. Actually, no. Both 2 of the items required for Swamp were locked by the 3rd item required, which I think was locked by the 4th item. Yeah, you needed the hook shot to get the mirror, then needed the mirror to get either or bomb to get the Master Sword for Hammer or in Bombos, or and those are the flippers for from Magic Bat. So there was a linear progression here just to get access to Swamp for those medallions.
this is one of the most linear seeds I've ever seen, in all honesty.
Well, I could say that it's so linear it's parallel. Big key first chest has this Myers gonna be lightning fast.
There is one other thing.
Enlighten me then.
There is a 95% chance we are in go mode.
Right! I
No
almost
boots.
forgot. Boots could could be on torch. I completely forgot. Oh, but what if I was commenting scene I think yesterday, or no, it was the day before, in which Boots, we were worried about it being Boots locked, but then Trinex had the Boots.
I think I remember that race.
So we are missing just the boots. We know where silvers are. Or they are cape locked. We don't know where the cape is. What a seed. What a seed this is.
I am very, very surprised at how linear the seed wound up being despite early nits, because when you find early nits, that's a sign that the seed is going to be wide open.
I'm going to laugh if Vitreous here has our cape. Because it's like the game knew that you were not going to get the quick kill on Vitreous with the silvers. It's a key. So there are still 2 items in here, but we don't care about them. The only one I'd even be remotely interested in besides boots is the ether medallion. And it's purely for the Stalfos room in the gauntlet. Just use it, get them out of the way. It's fast, and you don't have to worry about them jumping all over the place.
When I first learned the randomizer, I actually loved using Bombos on the gauntlet.
Yeah, Bombos is a guaranteed instant kill on everything, but it takes too long. And Ether does not kill the Zax. It does kill the Stalfos, though. So now Aeide is entering Swamp. If Aeide sticks around, we'll be getting their medallions for go mode.
And even if the big key is on the torch in Ganon's tower, it's overwhelmingly likely that the boots are in GT itself.
And if not, where the heck would they be? I don't even know.
Left side swamp.
Aeide might full clear, so might have that. And if it turns out to be the case, I don't know if Aeide will be able to catch up with those boots.
Probably not, because the boots only save about 2 to 3 minutes per hour, and we probably only have...
Wait, Aeide?
Uh-oh. Aeide is getting Bombos and leaving. I can definitely defend this play, it's just not going to work out this time.
Yeah. I was worried about that, I didn't want to say anything. I hate to say this, but I think that seals Aide's fate. I think Aide's not going to be able to come back from that. Anyway, Data World's getting a small key in the first chest here in Turtle Rock. Gonna be moving their way all the way down.
I think Aide's only hope at this point is if the boots are in Mire and required, but that's astronomically unlikely.
Yeah. Also, shoutouts to French Vanilla Mirror. Data, we're picking up the Mirror Shield here in the Turtle Rock. It's just a little earlier than normal.
Great chain chomp room by Data. That can be very tricky to navigate. You'll see runners employ a wide variety of strategies
To not get bit by those chain chomps. They hurt a lot.
The chain chomps are actually the second most damaging enemy in the game.
Yep.
With green mail, they do 4 hearts of damage. The only thing in the game that does more damage than a chain chomp bite is a Hyrule driver from Ganon, which will do 6 hearts of damage.
I thought it was 6 and 8 respectively in this game.
It's 6, 4, and 3.
Well, there's the red mail for Aeide. Alright, I find this very interesting from Data. Data probably is feeling behind and didn't go see the witch. And if I'm going up the Turtle Rock to go to GT, I would absolutely stop for potions. Just to have a little extra safety. But does have the powder, does have the net, so can capture fairies at will.
Data has half magic too, so magic shouldn't be a concern.
Yeah, I just like having a blue potion in case things go south, and quite often with me it does.
With net and powder, there's no real reason to grab potions.
And Data with 2 keys is just gonna skip straight to Rhinax here.
This play is fine. The chances of required boots being in any of the chests in here is less than 1%.
Yeah, the boots are most likely in GT if they're required.
Because there's something like...
Ooh. Getting tagged by the eye laser.
A lot of locations in G-Tower.
Actually, we should talk about this because we're about to go in here. Hold your guesses, folks. Because once Tridex is done here, we're only going to have about 30 seconds for this. Big key guessing game. Almost forgot about that.
True, there are 22 chests in Ganon's tower. And if you are subscribed or you have contributed at least 250 bits, you will be eligible for the Big Key Guessing Game leaderboard, and I completely expect there will be a lot of guesses in chat for 3.
Yeah, we're gonna get the game started as soon as we see the sword flourish here on Data's end. Get them in, hold your guesses right now, and get them in fast, because you're only gonna have about maybe 30 seconds.
I see a lot of 3s in chat.
So you want to see it on the torch. Where do you want to see it, actually, Raikau?
I actually like to go with chest number 9.
Chest number 9? Alright, I can see that. I personally want to see it chest 6, but that's assuming it's right side first, because it's the compass chest. I just like it appearing with all the pits. And that was very interesting. That Lionel shot went through Data. Alright, folks, we're going to be closing the poll here, by the way, as soon as we see Data go downstairs. I think that'll be fair. Give you guys.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think Data. That'll be fair for our for our viewers here because it was such a short window.
Data's got to be pretty happy with the pace, though. 134 entering G-Tower is a pretty solid time, especially considering the location of the hammer.
Alright, first 2 items. Piece of heart. And the small key. Data's going right.
Probably thinks of being behind after that after finding the hammer so late.
All right, heading over into the compass room here. Hammer was at Bomba's tablet for those just tuning in. And it was required along with the flippers. B is our third chest. 4, 5 arrow booster, 5 bombs, 6 butter. Very nice. So yeah,
Butter does make a difference in the Ganon fight.
Yeah, especially the silverless one, I'd say. Doesn't it like have the spins necessary?
It does. It does. No, it does not have the spins, because the way the damage works in this game is when you do
Go mode, true go mode.
Go mode, yeah.
Chest.
So the way the spins work on Ganon is whenever you do a spin attack, for that attack it will raise your damage on the damage table by 1 sword level. Because there is no sword above butter, the slashes and the spins with the butter sword actually do the same amount of damage, being 8.
Yeah.
However, you will still use spins because it's a very, very small window to actually do a silverless hit on Ganon without doing a spin.
Yeah. Those were chests 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Nothing too major in them, just a small key and some money, as well as the map on the torch. Chest 12 is Ether.
Great place for that.
Yeah, that's a very nice thing to find. So now the only thing we're missing in terms of knowledge is the boots and the cape.
So this next chest would be chest number 9 for the left side route, but because Data checked right side.
Yep, chest number 13.
Just 10 arrows, so we are headed to the randomizer room.
Yep. And he's frustrated throwing bombs.
So for those of you in no major glitches races, in the randomizer room, there are actually arrows if you need them. These chests contain 2 packs of 3 bombs and 2 bundles of 10 arrows if you do need them.
There's also a bundle of arrows behind armor sights. In one of the 2 chests there. Most of the chests in Ganon are actually just extra supplies. Extra bombs, extra arrows. But nothing in random room, so it's time to go see Bob. And we know Bob's gonna live here. So we're up to, I think, chest 18. Yeah, we're up to chest number 18.
Great bomb jump by Data.
All right, hi Bob.
And Aeide is in Spike Cave.
18 is our Ganon's Tower big key.
That is deep.
That is deep indeed, but we're gonna go ahead and ascend.
So this is a bootless seed.
And the winner of our guessing game was Vitasia. Congratulations to you, sir.
These mimic rooms without silver arrows can be very tricky.
Yeah, the mimic rooms, though, not too much of an issue. There's even some extra ammo there if you're missing out.
The Aeide is going back into swamp. We'll find that Quake medallion by going deep enough, but it's pretty buried.
Yeah. I didn't even see what the second item was in Mire, did you?
I don't believe we saw it.
Just pretty sure chat fun. Heart was the second I admire. All right. And yeah, right here in this room that Data's in right now is where Ether would come into play. Just don't worry about the skeletons. Just blast them out of existence with a nice blast of cold magic.
Fire Rod with half magic is probably the best choice. These rooms can be trolly, but
yeah, this is X. Would just freeze from the Ether though, but Ether kills the Stalfos. And I argue that it's faster and more efficient just to Ether them and get them out of the way.
It is definitely very interesting to see the wide variety of ways that people handle those rooms. Good Landmo fight.
All right.
Nice Wizrobe room by Data. That is not easy to learn.
It's easy enough to see what you need to do, but executing is an entirely different story. And here we go with the torch puzzle. Pretty textbook here. Most likely grab the full magic decanter here in this room.
No, he has enough magic. He's probably going to grab the one right before Moldorm 2.
I wasn't sure if he did have enough magic, to be honest, but it looks like he did.
You only need a quarter. With half magic, you only need a quarter bar.
I wasn't sure if he was at a quarter or just under. And very nice tech there. You got rid of his bombs on purpose, so that when he used his last one, he switched to the cape. He switched over to powder, and thus saved himself a few seconds of menu time. That is very, very well done. I've never seen that before.
But we are not going to see what Moldorm 2 has, and I am not surprised.
Good for Data. Leave Moldorm his last possession. And here we go with the Aeide 2 fight, and wow, that's a nice pattern to start with. Easy triple. Ooh, this one might be a little tricky. Oh! That was only a single. He was too close. Another single. That's nice swamp, by the way. Then there's the last hit for Aeide 2. And with that, it is now time to fight the pig. Oh,
Just 10 bombs.
Alright, with the gold sword, it will be 6 slashes for the first 2 phases. Then 4 more. And then we're going to go down to spins. I think it's only going to be 12 spins at the start of each teleport for Data World for Serverless Strats.
That's correct. It is. It's 6 slashes. It's 6 slashes, 6 slashes, 4 slashes, and then 12 spins.
Grumble, 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 grumble. You are not a moblin, sir.
I believe it's actually the Guria that asks for food, but I digress.
Oh yeah, it is the Guria. Shows you I haven't played a vanilla Zelda 1 in a while. I probably should. I need to get more second quest experience. Alright, already on to phase 3. Aeide will be entering go mode just as Data finishes, it looks like. If not just a little bit earlier. Did you get the silvers in Dark World? No, because we don't know where they are.
We know where they are, we just don't know how to get to them.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
And Data does get Torch Glitch against Ganon. That's very, very important when doing silvers.
Next to us is yelling at me about no one needs
Gets
more
the
distinctions.
triple.
Very nice.
This is a fantastic silverless Ganon.
Yeah, very nice. They done.
Oh, just misses out on the 4 cycle.
Yeah, but cannot complain. This is a very excellent silverless Ganon. And with that, Data World has defeated Ganon. GG's to him. He will be the first of our 4-2s to be guaranteed into the bracket stage, and there is go mode for Aeide. Data World finishing with an official SRTV time of 1 hour, 45 minutes, and 43 seconds. And apparently has ended the domination of Dr. Wily. So yeah, let's see about getting Data in here for an interview.
After just a fantastic run. I think there were no major mistakes on Data's side. A couple of minor ones. I think the only real routing error was forgetting to check the thief in the Moldorm cave. I don't think I saw any major mistakes other than that.
Yeah. And folks, Data World will be joining us on commentary. He just wants a little bit of time to compose himself here. Looks like his excitement is just off the charts right now.
I would be too, because making brackets with this kind of field is incredibly difficult. Because if you go down the list of people who are 3-3 even right now, you'll see a lot of pretty big names. It just shows you the level of competition we have in a tournament this size.
And now we see Aeide entering GT. Or Turtle Rock, rather. Sorry. Is Torch Glitch Japan 1.0 only? I don't remember, actually. It is? Alright. Alright. So, real quick while we have Aeide here going through Turtle Rock, let me just go ahead and mention to you guys, we have a lot of matches coming up here. In 10 minutes over on Speed Gaming 2, Gamer Cow is fighting Mr. Zwanzig for a shot at brackets himself. Well, that one's going to be a very good match to watch. Probably gonna go see that myself after this race is over. And then at right now we got it on Speed Gaming 5. We should have Justin Z versus Lunchtime ATH. And then later at Speed Gaming 5 we'll have Imosar versus Kern. and then just a lot more races. Not just Link to the Past, but just races on here on Speed Game in general. And it looks like Data World is in setup. Shall we go ahead and pull him in, right, Cal?
Absolutely.
Alright, I'll go ahead and do it then. Data World, you've made it. You are now 5-2 and have qualified for the bracket stage of the Spring Stand Tournament. You gotta be feeling ecstatic, man. Walk us through this seed.
Discord be discording.
Yeah, probably. So we're gonna give him a couple more minutes here. Meantime, Aeide going through Turtle Rock, still on her way to Mimic Cave.
This should be better. GG.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Yeah. You've now qualified for bracket stage.
Thank you.
Yeah. We were kind of concerned with your early game rounding because you actually forgot to talk to the NPC in Mini Moldworm.
Did I?
Yes.
You did.
Luckily for you, it wasn't anything important. It was just 10 arrows.
Oh. Well, I was quite nervous, to be honest. So.
With this being the last week that Swiss and you being on the door of brackets, I'm not surprised. But you've done it. You did an excellent job. Your viewing was excellent this seed. Very nicely done.
Yeah, I think my execution was pretty good. I made some mid-game routing mistakes. I had a hard time finding the hammer, but overall the seed was pretty good to play. So.
That hammer was in a really tough spot, though.
Yeah, as was the flippers, really.
Yeah, I felt like once I found the hammer, I felt kind of behind, but I also felt that you either would get the hammer very early or the flippers very early, and probably not both, since you had to give up your portal to go into to check bet.
Yeah. Aeide did find the hammer for you, but you've managed to collect it pretty fast. And for Boots of Seed, getting nearly a sub 140, getting a sub 146 is pretty excellent. Is pretty amazing.
Yeah, I felt my execution was pretty good, and I'm just glad the Seed didn't throw too much of a curveball with Big Key on Torch, or I don't know,
well,
one of the medallions on Hammer Pack, something like that. So
Hammer was checked by Aeide. It wasn't anything important. The only thing we're really missing was the cape and the boots, obviously. Cape.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. The cape and the boots are probably somewhere in GT, or I don't know. It's
That's hard to say because you had to check most of GT to find the big key, so they could very well be in Laser Bridge.
Yeah, I did skip the 5 of the chests upstairs. Sorry, 3 of the chests upstairs. So I don't know.
The one thing that place it could not have been though was Mire. Aeide did full clear Mire, not grabbing bombs and leaving Swamp. Found the heart container as well as the red mail, which was in the I think it was the compass chest on the left side.
Yeah, I caught him going back into Swamp for the Quake medallion. So he probably left after finding bombos.
Yeah, you on the other hand stuck with the dungeon, and that ended up paying for you in spades.
Yeah, I kind of felt like my execution was good enough that I could take a couple of minutes to go mode Swamp. And luckily it paid off, so...
But yeah, 5 and 2, just barely making the brackets. You
yeah, I'm really happy I managed to clutch it out. It was
You're not going to be the only one clutching out. You're only just the first, one of the first 4-2s of so many others who are trying to fight for their tournament in lives here. Then this is the literally do or die for your half of the people on the field.
Yeah, there's like 64 and 2 matches. It's insane.
Yeah, one of those 4 and 2s unfortunately got paired up. That's actually happening in the next 4 minutes.
Oh. I think I'm going to watch it then.
I was most likely going to watch it too. But yeah, you've made it. I'm sure any of your supporters has been ecstatic here. You want to say anything to them?
Well, thanks for supporting me. But I hope you're enjoying the tournament, and I just want to give a quick shout out to all the casters, all the trackers, all the restreamers, and last but not least the administrators for making this possible. It's a really big tournament, bigger than expected, and there are just a lot of casts every day. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah, but now there's just one big worry for you, Data. Now that you're in the brackets, you now have to worry about the 12 people who made it who made auto qualified. One of which is the current reigning champion of the randomizer, AJ Neb.
Yeah, but I got my goal. I pretty much hope to make it to the brackets, and anything I do now is a bonus. So it's just gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be looking forward to seeing the bracket stages here. But yeah, you've done a great job. Any final thoughts on this seed?
No, not really. I think it was a pretty fun seed. It sent you in all kinds of directions, and you had to make some pretty tough decisions to check some out of the way locations. But overall, it was a really fun seed.
Alright, I don't feel like I should keep you here any more than you need to. If you want to go watch that match by all means, we'll go ahead and keep watching Aeide here. Once again, shoutouts here to Data World, our winner of this race. Putting on an excellent show for us.
I actually think that Data World might be someone to watch out for in the brackets.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people to watch out for. But yeah, folks, we have just a very small amount of time. I'm here to... So, let's save any shoutouts that I planned to for the end. There's the 4th bottle, so yeah, we really were just missing the boots and the cape. Aeide also having the gold sword now.
And even without silver arrows, having butter sword makes Ganon pretty easy.
Does Aeide even know where the silver arrows are?
I don't believe so.
That'll be an interesting thing to tell him later. But yeah, Aeide unfortunately will be 4 and 3 now in the tournament. Not completely out yet, but I'm not sure about tiebreakers myself.
I can actually go ahead and check the tiebreakers.
Please do.
It'll just take me a minute or two.
In the meantime, we're gonna say hi to Bob and hi to the big key. Here for Aeide.
I just checked the tiebreakers. Aeide is pretty far down the list of 4 and 2s, so not gonna happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, Fantasia confirming that for us here in chat as well.
Ironically, even if Data World did lose his match, he's actually one of the top 4 and 2s.
So Data really had a nice comfy cushion there.
Because going into this match, Data World was the 7th highest ranked 4 and 2.
And Aeide is doing some bombo strats here in the gauntlet for us. I've run out of stuff to say, to be perfectly honest.
I do like Bombo strats here. What using Bombos does in these rooms is it makes them consistent.
Yeah, although one could argue that Bombos is slow.
It is slow, but it is consistent. So it really depends on your comfort level with these rooms.
I mean, I would just fire rod everything else and just eat through the one room with Stalfos in it because it's fast and it kills them instantly. You don't have to worry about chasing them. Alright, folks, so here we are in the Wizard Room. Quickly grabbing that magic. Nice safety to have. Doesn't have to worry about his magic now in the fire room. And Aide's through the second room. And yeah, folks, I do also want to mention here real quick, we're talking about tiebreakers. Here's where we're not talking about play-in races. There will not be a play-in race, so your record does matter in these tournaments in terms of our tiebreaker.
Specifically, the way the tiebreakers are going to work is all the 4 and 3s are going to be stacked first by their opponent's match win percent. So the tougher your opponents were in this tournament, the higher you're going to be ranked among all the 4 and 3s. And specifically, what this means is the earlier your losses were in the tournament, the worse your tiebreakers are going to be. So if you had the 4 wins that will get into the tournament will likely be the ones that had all 4 of their wins early and just happened to get, or the ones that had 1 loss early on that just happened to be against an extremely tough opponent. We do see what is in Moldorm 2, though, just a bomb upgrade. So it'll forever be a mystery where these boots were.
I mean, I'm sure someone will take the seat and dive through it. Just for completionist sake. But anyway, here we go. Aide's Ganon Aeide 2 fight. Getting that nice triple pattern here. And does nail the triple. Only a single there. Misses that hit. Gets it all to make up for, though. Pretty similar Ganon fight, or Aeide 2 fights. Now it's time for Aeide to fight the pig.
With Buttersword, this should be a pretty easy fight. Making great use of hookshot iframes. Does manage to get through Fire Bat phase in one cycle.
And does have to dodge this other Fire Bat here. And I do believe Aeide does have potions, so if anything goes wrong, he can at least stay alive.
That is correct. Aeide did make a detour to the Witch to buy potions around, I want to say, the hour mark.
Yeah. I mean, it's always a safe bet to do that before you go to Turtle Rock to GT. Because that's a lot of time to just keep your health up.
I think it's more appealing to buy potions before T-Rock if you don't have half magic. With half magic, it's not usually necessary.
I usually buy potions purely for the sake of because I want to be reckless in GT and on the way up. Just throw caution to the wind and go fast. And
well,
also
with powder, there's all kinds of health.
And it also gives me a safety net in case I decide to do cave strats against Ganon and I don't have that much magic leaving Aeide 2.
Again, that depends on your equipment setup. I would be more apt to do that if you didn't have the offensive setup, but with Buttersword, there's really no need. Again, it does depend on your comfort level.
Like, I usually do cave strats if I'm trying to do one cycle tempered. And that's it.
And it looks like we do have Aeide taking down Ganon, and we'll finish.
Yep, so GG's to Aeide here. Sticking it out, finishing this race. And crossing the threshold with an official SR TV time of 2 hours, 8 minutes, 45 seconds. GG's to him. I already see him in the waiting room. Let's get him in here. Shall we?
Absolutely.
GG's to you, Aeide, for finishing the seat here.
Oh, hello.
Unfortunately, you are now in the 4 and 3. But hey, you did a pretty excellent job here.
I'll take it. My goal was to go 3-4, so to even get four wins, I'm pretty stoked about it.
4 wins is great.
That seat was awful. Oh my god, I felt behind from like 45 minutes in. I don't know if you could tell, but at one point I was just like, screw it, I'll check all the one-off random places, hoping that that's one of those 2 medallions.
It was
Yeah.
that Swamp Palace though. That was rough.
That swamp was troll. Oh my god. I've been saying it this whole tournament. Pendant Swamp pays out every time.
It does.
Crystal Swamp is garbage, and once again that holds true. But I put off going there as long as I could, and skipped out after I found the first one.
We were talking when Data dove Swamp that there are two different camps of Link to the Past randomizer players. Ones that religiously believe in Swamp Palace just in general, regardless of whether it's Pendant or Crystal, and those who are vehemently opposed.
Yeah, I like Swamp. I think it's a really fun dungeon. It's pretty straightforward, and there's a lot of items, but I generally will put it off as long as I can if it's a Pendant. If it's a Crystal, I don't have much of an issue running in, and that's exclusive to this version, and it's only personal bias. I find a lot of items in Pendant Dungeon, or Pendant Swamp.
I know how it is. I'm exactly the same way with Ice Palace, and in not just this tournament, but in the previous tournaments as well, I have been burned on Ice Palace, whether it's Pendant or Crystal, I want to say on 3 or 4 different occasions. So I know exactly where you're coming from with Swamp Palace.
It's Crystal. Pendant Dungeons in general. 2 of my losses were big time because one item I needed was in a Pendant Dungeon. The first time was Pendant Thieves, and this time Pendant Swamp. Although Swamp, I guess, 2 this time. But yeah, as soon as I found nothing in Mire, I was like, okay, there's no way he didn't find both medallions yet. I have to just go check Spike Cave and Witch and all the shovel and random garbage locations that nobody would ever check normally.
Did you ever get around to checking Bumper Cave?
I checked it, but I never found the cape to get silvers.
Oh, you did check it.
Yeah, I checked it right after Skullwoods.
I definitely do agree with your play to check those one-off locations if you feel you're way behind. That can make a difference because if you follow meta, you're going to lose anyway.
Exactly.
And especially if you feel you're up against an opponent that outclasses you in terms of skill, that's the way to go.
Definitely. I knew Data can beat me straight up in execution, and I needed to gamble and get lucky, and unfortunately, it didn't get lucky. But it was a fun race. It was a really weird but good, enjoyable seed.
It was really linear.
Yeah, it was super linear, especially for the first hour was like, here's a track you can go on.
Well, here's the prime example. You needed the hookshot to get the mirror, and the mirror to get the hammer and the flippers. Which, by the way, you were the first one to get the hammer, but Data was just got it 2 minutes later, so it wasn't much of an advantage. It was a huge tempo swing for you though at the time.
The one find that I thought might put me a little head early was the bow, assuming he had gone to Eastern before the desert area.
Yeah.
I assumed probably with a book that early and fire and stuff, he's gonna go to desert, but that was the one I was like, maybe I'm a little ahead, but by the time I found hammer, I thought I was behind for sure.
Bo, you were both in desert roughly at the same time.
Okay.
You actually took very similar routes until your search for the hammer. Just Data World outplayed you.
Yeah.
But you are now, like I said, you are now 4-3. Did you at least have fun with the tournament?
Heck yeah, this was my first tournament. I've only been running Zelda Rando since February or so, just before this tournament started. So it was a blast, and I look forward to many, many more of them.
For someone who has only been running for
a couple of months,
you're very, very good.
Thank
I've
you.
actually played in all three of the standard flags tournaments for this. I didn't play in the Key Sanity because Key Sanity is a headache.
Yes. The Key Sanity tournament is what really pulled me into this. I just from a spectator point of view. And as soon as I finished watching that, I was like, okay, I need to pick this up. I've been watching randos for a couple of years, but the Key Sanity is what made me, okay, I have to do this. It's time.
Do you play any other ones?
No.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts on the seed aid that you haven't mentioned yet already?
I don't think so. GG to Data. I'll be cheering for him in the final brackets.
Yeah. But anything you want to say to anyone who might have liked what you saw, liked your runs? through this Swiss days?
Just thanks to everybody for supporting me this whole 7, well, I guess 8 technically, but 7 weeks of racing, and to you guys, commentators, tracking, restream. It's the greatest. You're the best. We couldn't do anything without you, so you guys make this happen.
Absolutely, and we do need to give a shout out to just everybody behind the scenes who can make this massive tournament a thing. It is a lot of work running a tournament this size.
Yes, and while we're giving shout outs, make sure to give both of our runners here a follow on Twitch. They honestly deserve it. They put on an excellent race for us today. While you're at it, make sure to also follow all of the Speed Gaming networks. We're on 4 right now, but there's also the original Speed Gaming. There's Speed Gaming 2, 2, and 3, and there's also Speed Gaming 5 and 6. We're right here in the middle. Also, don't forget to give a link to the best randomizer a follow, as well as its sub-channels 2, 3, and 4. There are other races going on there as well. Also, make sure to give Rykow Rider, my co-com, as well as Michael K, AR Tracker follow as well. They did an excellent job working with me here.
Oh, absolutely. And please give Wolflink a follow as well. He has done a commentary for a lot of other randomizer tournaments as well, and does do some randomizer runs of his own.
Yeah. But I think that wraps it up for us here. So from all of us here at A Link to Vast Randomizer, we just see you all next time, and thank you for watching. Good night, everyone.
Have a good day.